So the first step is going to be installing this main control flap. So the KTM calls it, it's the center power valve. You're going to want to install it with these two pins facing upwards. It just goes in there like this. Next, you're going to want to lube these two pins. These pins go in the side and it rotates on these pins. I just use a little bit of premix because that's what it gets lubed with anyway. And then just a teeny bit on the O-ring. I'll go ahead and put that in. And what I'll do when I do this is I'll make sure that it's up all the way. I won't be able to show it in the video, but you'll know when it goes in the hole. So don't tighten that yet, just get it in there and then lube the other one. Just a light lube, doesn't need a ton. Just enough so that it's lubed when you first start it. So on to the next one. These pins are the same on each side. Alright, so I just got those pins in and lubed up. Don't tighten them all the way. The next step is you're going to put two feeler gauges that are 0.20 millimeters thick. Grab the flap and pull it up all the way. So what I do is I do this upside down. And I position one feeler gauge right here and one right here, and then I go ahead and snug the flaps. That's the spec KTM gives you, and then make sure that it moves freely up and down. So I'm going to go ahead and set that right now. Once you have that set, go ahead and put these back on like this. Alright, so these get torqued to 4.4 foot-pounds with a little bit of medium strength Loctite on them. After that, we're going to go ahead and install this little control flap. This portion goes towards the bottom, the hole is at the top. There's a little flat side on it, and that is going to go facing forward, so towards the exhaust. Something I found that's really good for installing these is a snap ring plier. So just put it in the hole and then drop it down in there. I already lubed this. So in order to get it past those two pins in this main valve, you have to turn it to the side. Then once it's in, put the flat spot towards the front / towards the exhaust side. Alright, so go ahead and lube these two side valves and the center cam. You don't have to go crazy on the oil, just light coat. Don't put these in dry though. I'd rather you put a ton on than nothing. You know, these are all moving parts, so I'm going to make sure they're all lubed. I'm just using Valvoline 2-stroke premix oil because I had it lying around. Normally I run Yamalube in my bikes, but this is just for assembly. Alright, so now that all those are lubed, go ahead and mount. I usually mount this one first, it doesn't really matter. This little cam is going to go into this assembly. So go ahead and face that down against the cam. This little cam downwards. Alright, so that's fully seated. Next, we're going to do this side. If you're sitting on the bike, this is the left. If you're looking at this, this is the right. The right one is going to have two markings on it. This one is going to have one marking. So as you can see, this one only has one marking on it right there. It might be hard to see on camera. Go ahead and stick that one in here. Orientation does not matter right now in terms of where this is at. Just make sure you put the right one in the correct hole. So then this one has two markings, kind of hard to see. I'm just going to go in there like so. So all this should just go in there super smooth. And then I'll take my pliers, rotate them, make sure they're all good. Now you can take this one and rotate it and see how it's moving that center flap. You know, it's doing it really smooth, like no effort. Okay, so we know that is assembled correctly. And remember, you cannot take this housing off when it's in the bike. So when the cylinder's on the bike, you can't take this off. You can take it off about this far, but that's it. Alright, so I'm going to lube the rest of the stuff and show you how to time it. Alright, so I got the actuating arm all lubed, ready to go in. The side with the markings faces outwards, so you can see that it has these two lines on this one line here, one line here. Those face outwards. So we're going to line those up. That's literally all you have to do. These two lines are going to line up with these two divots. This middle line is going to line up with this middle hole, this marking, and then same for this one. So it's just going to slide in like this, and we're going to go ahead and line those up. So I already put the three of these back in, these little guide rail pins, and I lubed them as well. Make sure you put those in first. So that one. And just be patient with it. There's a lot of stuff in there, so this one's going to move down a little. It helps having like a pick or something. That's what I use. There's that one. Yeah, just came off. So this one's off. Okay, so you can see that these two are on right there. There's one mark, there's the second, there's the line and the line. There's the mark on this gear, there's the line. I'll show you what this looks like if it's not right. Okay, so there's the divot, there's the line. So this one needs to be moved down a tooth. Alright, so that's timed correctly. Next what I do is I will go ahead and make sure in the fully closed position the valve is fully closed, which you can see it is. And then when you push it up, it's fully open. Okay. So then I'll set it at the very bottom again, double check my timing marks, and they're all good. Another quick thing I didn't mention, make sure to install these little guide rail pins before you put this plate on. Easy way to remember for me where all these bolts go is all of these for the exhaust flange are the same length. These two are a little shorter than these, and then these are significantly shorter than these. Pretty simple to remember, but you know, I messed up putting all these together before, which is why I'm making a video. When I put the cylinder on, this was not in the little actuating cam, and I accidentally put it here, so when I went to go ride the bike, when I would get on the gas, the power valve had never opened. So I pretty much had to, you know, redo it. But we learn from our mistakes, I guess. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and get the gasket for this exhaust flange, and then the power valve assembly is done. Again, once you're done putting the plate on, make sure it all goes freely. This takes like no effort. There's very minimal resistance.